I'm gonna ask Brianna.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And if we could start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flags.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next up is, we need to elect a moderator. So could I have nominations for someone to moderate the meeting, please? Or anybody want to raise their own
I
hand?
nominate Ken Miller.
I'm sorry,
I nominate Ken Miller.
Ken Miller.
Would you be interested, Mr. Miller?
I'm sorry. Trouble hearing. What am I nominated for?
To be the
Be the
moderator for the meeting.
moderator?
Sorry.
Moderator?
Yes. Thank you.
Do a voice vote. All in
Let's do this
favor?
vote or show of hands. All in favor?
Aye, or yes.
Any opposed? Okay, Mr. Miller, you are unanimously voted as our moderator.
Yes, please join us up here. Do you have a copy of the agenda already?
Yeah.
Okay, you can use mine.
Unexpected opportunity.
Could you just have your name for the minutes, please?
My name down.
I gotcha.
I'll put it down.
I
Thank
think
you,
you're about to
that's
take the oath of office in a second.
Yeah. Sorry.
And we don't really have to, by the way, just so you know, we don't really have to give our name.
Oh, it's okay.
You have to do sometimes the method of intimidation. I don't care, I'll give you my name, no problem.
Okay.
But you know.
Well, I'm just gonna put it in the minutes, but I can
Sure.
take it out if you prefer.
No.
Just. Have you do this oath, please?
Okay.
I'm sorry. what's your name?
Ken Miller.
I, Ken Miller,
Miller,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
I will faithfully and impartially
discharge
discharge the duty
of moderator at this town meeting. At this town meeting,
of this town meeting.
to the best of my ability.
That's my vote.
Thank you.
You didn't know you were gonna get a test, did you?
When you can.
I asked how much I get paid.
Okay. Next up, discussion of this, oh, I'm sorry, you're the moderator.
All you're gonna do is just announce the
I'm
next
just bossy.
item on the agenda, number 4.
Okay, we're at number 4, discussion of the supervisor's annual financial report.
All right, at the front table here, you should have been able to grab a copy of the annual report. It has the annual report for all funds for the township, including the township as well as the road district consolidated, and then each individual fund as well. But the basic quick highlight for you, when you look at all funds collectively, we pulled in $3,189,469 in revenue. And we spent $3,131,917. So we did have a surplus on the year. I'm not gonna read the individual numbers on every single report, but is there any questions I can help answer with regards to the finances from the last year? Yes, sir.
I'm new, so I'm just wanna, so is that usually standard, whatever the budget is for the year, we usually spend?
Yeah, so
That's
there's,
what you're close to.
Yeah,
What
so-
you made, you spent.
yeah, so we have a decent balance that we've been able to build up as a township. So generally, our annual budget, we actually budget at a loss because we can. We have more than enough funds to do that, but we don't always expend all the funds that we put into the budget. And so this year we were pretty substantially actually under the budget, and that's why we actually ended up with a surplus as opposed to a deficit on the year.
So what was the surplus?
The total surplus was about 60, $8,000
Thank you.
across
Sorry,
all funds.
I didn't read that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Any additional questions before we move on? All right, hearing none, do you want to move on to the next item on the agenda?
Next item on the agenda.
Number 5.
Number 5, reports from township elected officials. Who's gonna lead that? You gonna lead that, sir?
Yes, we can. I'll give the opportunity first if any trustees want to give a report.
I can
Okay.
give a quick
Sure.
little, this past week I met with the, senior committee. There,
And you are,
I'm Kelly Hickey, I'm sorry,
Thank you.
thank you, Kelly Hickey. And I met with the senior committee and we laid out the dates for the senior luncheons for the year. And I'd really like to thank Pastor Zaki at Wheatland Salem, who's continuing to host our events there. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Sir,
Thank
could
you.
you sign in, please?
All right, Terry Jones. Just want to let everybody know that our state representative Manley is trying to rid us of the Highway Transportation Department here. They want to absorb it into the county, so you may want to look into that, and if you're opposed to it, let them know. If you're for it, let them know that as well. All right.
Thank you, trustee Jones. Any further results? Yes.
Lane Rockers, trustee, I cover the south part of, well, we cover the whole thing, but I reside in the south part of, north part of Plainfield. Glad you're all here.
Thank you. All right, Mary, did you, you don't have to, but if you have a report for just the year,
Just generally,
and if it's for the monthly, we'll do that at the next meeting, but if it's for the annual.
it's just generally
Okay.
what's happening.
Okay.
We have some down, because I can't remember everything off the top of my head. So should base everybody, because I feel bad. Everybody. Harry Katzberg, I'm the assessor. I took over for Chuck Hood, who retired in December. So I will be finishing out his term, just to kind of let you know what's going on with that. I've worked at the township for better part of 20 years. So what I wanted to let you know about is, as you can tell, we're exploding with new construction everywhere you look. So anything we have left is gonna be going quickly. We've had 1,000 new parcels so far, which would bring us up to 32,000 some odd. We have a couple hundred home improvements. And the county is mailing out the exemptions Friday for anyone that's, would get one. It's mainly senior exemptions, but also annual disabled persons, that kind of thing to annually renew. We do have another new subdivision coming up, maybe in the next year, Riverstone, 192 lots. So we are quite, we're starting to, I don't know when we'll get to build out, but we're definitely going quickly. So just want to let you know.
Thank you, Mary. Cemetery report?
Yeah, I'm Dave Scrivenon. I'm the tax collector, but don't throw anything at me. I don't collect any taxes. I just run the cemetery. It's located at 104th and Plainfield Naperville Road. It's a resource for all residents of Wheatland Township. This past in 2023, we had 11 burials. And we just continue to provide a peaceful and good environment for folks to visit their loved ones. Just wanted to say thank you in this forum to the road crew, road district, who does a great job kind of maintaining our ground, as well as our trustee. Actually, one of our trustees, Jim Hoffman, had a medical emergency, so we're praying for him. But just wanted to thank everyone for being here. Thanks.
Thank you. Nita, did you want to give the report before I go on?
The things I do aren't really that interesting to report on, but I can tell you that, records are in good shape, so.
All right,
And I'll add my thanks again for you to help.
thank you. All right, for me, just following up on our finances, just for a quick moment. I had taken a look at our tax levy and data on our collections compared to some of the other townships. So I'm just gonna give you guys a few examples of how we're doing here. As far as our actual tax rate for the township, not the road district, but for the township, we are 24th out of 24 townships in Will County. So that means if we have the lowest tax rate of any township in Will County, we are 80% below the median tax rate in Will County. As far as on the township side as well, for the amount that we levy per resident in the township, we levy $10.25 per resident in Wheatland Township. The average in Will County is $43.05. So again, they're 76% below the average in Will County.
Sorry,
Yes,
it's per day, per month, per week,
that's for the
annual?
annually.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
we are, if you look at your tax bill, we are by far the lowest line item on your tax bill. For the road districts, I'm sorry, and then again, as far as per person spend, even though we're offering as many services as many other townships, we are last in the amount that we require from our residents. On the road district side, our tax rate is 78% below the average tax rate in Will County. And the road district ranks 22nd out of 24 road districts in Will County on that number. And again, there we spend we levy $22.30 per resident compared to the average of $86.83 across Will County. We are ranked 23rd there. We would rank, actually, we're ranked 23rd out of 23. One township has no road district. So we are last again on that one. And then for overall spending across both the township and the road district, we levy almost 75% less than the average in Will County. Our residents, per resident, we are levying $32.55. The average in Will County is $129.87. We rank 23rd out of 24, and we are very close to 24th. It's the county, or I'm sorry, it's a township with no road district that is just barely below us. So I just bring this all up to say, we are taking very good care of your dollars here. We are doing everything we can to be lean for you all. Our employees do a great job of making sure that they are operating kind of within their means of and taking care of the tax dollars of our residents. And then the last piece, that information was also agreed upon in our decennial committee. Our decennial committee had unanimous approval of the report, which again showed that we are operating lean, we're doing a good job, we're efficient, and we're continuing to look for ways to improve on that efficiency and continue to lead the county in financial operation. So that concludes my report.
Any questions?
Great job.
Thank you.
Michael, do you feel that achieving those numbers is possible without taking the max levy?
But we haven't taken the max levy every year.
Could you explain, because it is even confusing to me, so could you explain to the crowd like how the levy works and like, so how, what we're looking to possibly pass this year?
Our levy was already passed in
But for the
December, but in the
for
future. The levy rate, I mean, you can request and pretty much any percentage you want. The county will give you essentially the lesser of the amount that you request or inflation. The way you can get around that, you can request actually more if the electors decide that they want to, let's say, build a new building, expand the road district to double the size of our force so we can get things done quicker, whatever it may be. The electors have that opportunity to do that. We've never asked for the electors to do that because we are already operating generally at a surplus. So there's no reason for us to go out and continue to raise at a very high rate. We're essentially just trying to keep up with inflation. Our rates are keeping up with the rate of inflation as far as our tax levies go. And then one of the great things is in the past, man, I can't remember, was it this year or already last year? The years blend. We were able to get our funds into a pretty good returning investment account for the township. So what that allows us to do is to continue to find additional sources of revenue for the township that aren't property tax dollars, right? So that also minimizes our need for going out and getting taxes above or raising our tax rate above the rate of inflation.
Thank you.
Other questions? So I'll ask a question for newbies. You said that the electric could ask for an increased rate. And
Yes.
the electric also asked for build a new building
Correct.
or something like that.
Yeah, so there are
So
several.
it increased the rate.
Yes, so the electors, if they want, like, the board can put it as a special meeting request if they would like. The electors can also put that before the board asking for different things. The state statute allows electors, which are essentially the residents, right, the voting residents of the district, to put certain things before the board, and that's one example. So if we wanted to go kind of above and beyond, so let's say, again, I think what would make most sense in our circumstance, right, is, I know the road district, our highway commissioner will speak to it shortly. They just restarted the roads program that was delayed for several years. So an example of something, let's say, rather than getting our roads done over a 5-year period, we want to accelerate it into a 2-year period. Well, then we could temporarily increase the tax rate on the highway side. But we wouldn't do that without, or again, substantially raising without, coming before the electors first.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anything else? If not, we'll go to Highway Commissioner's report.
Hi, Tom Windsor, I'm the highway commissioner. A couple of newsworthy things to talk about is we are, as Michael mentioned, we're doing a continuation of the road program. The bids that we got were all under our engineering bids, and the ultimate person, the company that did that was actually $100,000 less than our engineering group. Ideally, you want that to be close, but that's a good thing. That means that whatever they decided to do, they were very competitive, very aggressive, and they wanted our business. So we're gonna move forward with that. We have a pre-construction meeting on the 17th, next Wednesday. The other kind of newsworthy things, I think, like all the residents, I see hot topics is there is a Woodman's being added at the intersection 119th and Route 59. The short story is that Woodman's has told many people, including myself, that they are committed to working with the municipalities to make the work flow. I mean, it's gonna be a busy store, it's gonna be a busy parking lot, a lot of changes going on to that intersection, and they're committed. They told the mayor of Plainfield that they're committed to helping us out. We actually had meetings, and the most thing that I want to point out is that they're definitely including myself as a highway commissioner, because those roads used to be ours, and we know that area probably better than anybody else, and so I'm excited about that. The other big one too is kind of an FYI, a little bit related to that is there is going to be a 54-inch water main, so about my size, or a little bit, shorter than that, going to be installed down from 95th Street all the way down to up 75th Street, pretty much either underneath or next to Book Road. So there will be some construction projects going on there. They're already doing some digging to confirm all the underground utilities and stuff like that. And I just got a phone call early this morning from the engineering firm saying that they're gonna keep the township involved because that is part of that township road. The other one too is it's kind of more of a Plainfield connection, is the bridge over to Page River at 127th Street is probably gonna be shut down for a period of time this year. So for all the residents, if that's a place that you drive through or recognize it, you're probably gonna be detoured around that. Wanted to give you a heads up, was discussing that with Plainfield yesterday. I'll keep it, that's good enough right now. If anybody has questions, along the side.
Thank you, Tom. Sorry, one last piece I forgot to mention because I looked at this, compared to our historical average. For taxes collected this year, our tax rate is the lowest in the last 10 years for both the township site and the road district. Now that's the rest of it. Thank you.
Okay. No other questions for the highway commissioner? We can go to next agenda item, which is old business. Discussion of approval of the April 11th, 2023 annual town meeting minutes.
I also need a motion. We get a motion.
I make a motion to Bring to the floor the approval of last year's minutes.
And a
Is there a
second?
second?
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor? Raise your
Aye.
hand. It's approved.
Thank you.
Next is new business. One item, the first item is setting the time for the April 8th, 2025 annual town meeting. Mr. Howard.
Well, historically, we do this at 7 o'clock. Is everybody good with 7 o'clock? Any opposition to that? All right, well then I move to set next year's meeting for 7 PM on April 8th, 2025.
Second that.
All
Want to call for the vote?
all in favor of 7 o'clock, April 8th, 2025 for the annual town meeting? It's passed.
Thank you.
Any other new business? You don't have any plan? Okay. Yeah,
We have public comment next.
yeah, no,
Yes.
That's,
yeah, we'll go to public comments. Raise your hand.
My name is Michael Wisniewski. I reside at 11S 414 Sanders Road, Naperville, Illinois. I have here a series of petitions to submit to the clerk tonight. Petition for a special meeting. We, the undersigned registered voters of Wheatland Township, hereby petition for a special meeting to be held outside the regular annual town meeting. The petition is made in accordance with the powers vested in us by Illinois Township Code, specifically Article 30, Annual Township Meeting. The purpose of the special meeting is a meeting of the Highway Commissioner and the board to discuss traffic safety issues within the township, speeding vehicles in Wheatland South and other areas, lack of safety for school bus stops for our children, deterioration of the roads within the unincorporated portions of Wheatland Township. Our requested date and time is May 3rd at 7 PM. Location to be here at the township offices. Of course, the rules say that the township can offer a second date or a different time that can be decided with the petitioners. I submit these to the clerk and ask if she could send me copies, or I could pick them up tomorrow. Thank you.
can I make sure to get your email before you go? Sir,
Appreciate it. You do a wonderful job.
sir, Mr. Wisniewski, could I get your email before you go? Just
I will.
thank you.
So. We need to take a vote on this with.
Oh, no, this is something that has to be handled by
Take
the
it
full
as.
board.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, okay.
Any additional public comment? Yes.
I have a public comment. I'm Raquel Mitchell. I'm also the Wheatland Township Republican Organization Chairman. And it's been brought to my attention that we have someone who, do I need to, you can't hear me? I'm sorry. Man, that's really shocking because I'm kind of loud, Ken. Okay, yeah, it appears that it's been brought to my attention that we have someone who has been brought onto the board that is a Republican. And I know we submitted other Republican candidates for the trustee, and by the way, I noticed that there was no speaking, that this person who's supposedly selected as a trustee did not speak with the other trustees at the beginning. Look, I'm just saying that we wanted an opportunity to have an actual Republican on board. We missed Megna. She's gone on to another, Megna Bansal, she's gone on to another council, and she should be replaced with another Republican. I find it absolutely unconscionable that the person who was put on the board is the husband of a trustee that's already on the board. Unnecessary. If you put Donald Trump himself on the board, you still have more Democrat members. So doing that just made no sense. Replace Megna Bansal, who is a Republican, with another Republican fairly squarely. So, yeah, and I think that should have been what was done. I think that is a fair thing to do. A lot of us Republicans had submitted petitions to that end. We should have our day in court. We should have a meeting about it, and we should select a Republican to fill that position for whatever the duration of that night. And I just wanna know, what do you plan to do about it? I know you don't have to answer, I'm used to this. But we really would like a response.
So can I make a comment? I'm the
Sure.
newbie here.
Sure.
Richard,
So-
you are.
Scott Krukoff, Wheatland South. So, never been to one of these meetings
Wheatland South.
before.
I'm sorry, Scott, you're Wheatland South?
Yeah, Wheatland South, 11741.
Okay, I
So-
thought that was your address, I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
Oh,
no, so
okay, sorry.
I didn't know that.
Like unincorporated subdivision.
Got it, okay, I was
So,
confused.
so I didn't know we went Democratic, Republican. Is there some like?
Actually, yes, yes,
So-
we do.
Okay.
So just so, during, the election is a partisan election for a township position.
Okay,
So in, April of what will be, I guess, April of next year, it will be a slate of Democrats and a slate of Republicans, and you get to decide which individuals you want. Just as it's the only one in the municipal races that has, any partisan, ship on it.
I have a question. Do we have
Yes.
legal counsel here?
Legal counsel is not here tonight.
Okay.
This is the same night that all townships in Illinois have it. He works with several townships as well.
Oh.
But as far as, the only comment I'll mention on that is that our legal counsel did explain to the, individual who brought forth the petition, the process that would be required to make changes if they wanted to continue moving forward.
I'm sorry, I hate to. It was improper. So like you can talk around it and you can kind of dance around the issue. It was highly improper how it was done. And I would like to know, and we would all like to know, how it was that this person was sworn in. That's what I would like to know. Because not everybody was present at the swearing in. So I would like to know, how was this person sworn in? How was everybody notified? And
They
why
were
wasn't
sworn in.
everybody notified?
They were sworn in legally. And any other comment?
My
No,
other comment,
not everybody was at the swearing in, so you can't say
No.
everybody was sworn in.
Excuse me, Richard. Okay.
I'm
Was,
sorry.
was there an agenda item to take up the issue of electing or appointing rather, the new,
Yes,
it was agenda item?
yes.
I'd like a special moment, what, that's not what it's called, special comment. Similar to what Raquel is saying, my angle as a trustee is more that, we met in January at a regular meeting, we broke out into a special session, executive session to vote on those that had come forward to put their name in the hat for the Republican, spot, the Republican trustee. Only two of, typically we have 5 people who can vote, only two votes were garnered for the candidate that was put forth. And unbeknownst to me that night, you need 3 according to Open Meetings Act. So once I realized this, as a trustee, I sent a communication to the Will County State's Attorney that went unanswered, didn't return phone calls. I then moved on to gathering about 50 signatures and calling for a special meeting. My issue is that the person was illegally put forth, or I'm sorry, voted upon. You need 3 affirmative votes. And I did have a call with Michael and our attorney, and they encouraged me to go to the state's attorney, to the Will County, the Illinois Attorney General and the Will County State's Attorney. One told me to go to the other and the other told me to go to the other one. I mean, so I'm kind of caught in this game. I've served with this board for 3 years. They always strive to do the right thing. I will continue to try to get this rectified. I would think that this board would want to vote someone in with 3 valid votes. That's all I'm asking for. Again, I do have I can get the date and the paperwork. I would like those 50 people who signed my petition to have this rectified, to have their day in court or whatever. I think we should bring it to a special, I mean, the gentleman who was appointed can still run, but it needs to be done properly.
My only response is that it wasn't an either or suggestion, or it wasn't us conflicting. It was that you have 2 options to who you can reach out to with regards to that issue,
No,
whether
well,
it be the.
But the attorney
State's
general told me
attorney?
to go to the Will County State's Attorney and they told me.
Oh,
so-
okay.
So I'm
So,
getting,
I just wanted to clarify. I thought you meant that Mike, because you said you spoke with myself and the
the
attorney.
attorney gave me clear instruction.
Okay,
It's the next step that it's
understood.
that went like this.
Just like that.
Go figure.
So where is the petition?
So,
Second,
but
Where?
he's indicated that, like, I don't even know who this person is, but he's not a legitimate candidate because the wife is.
I
on the
believe
committee?
that is really not the issue.
Okay.
It's unfortunate. It's ethical to some of us. It's an ethical concern, but that's really not the issue I'm bringing up. This was an illegal appointment because he didn't get enough votes.
Well, but is he legit or not legit?
Not legit, not legit,
Or there's a discrepancy on that?
not legitimate.
Oh, okay.
But there's no law that I can point to that says.
Our legal counsel
Right.
says otherwise,
Gotcha, okay.
so.
Okay.
No, this is actually in TOI. It says that you need to have 3 votes. Your legal counsel slow walked it, so did our state's attorney slow walk. You can shrug all you want. I'm just telling you exactly what happened. You have to have 3 votes. Either you wanna be fair or you don't wanna be fair. It's up to you. If you wanna operate, ethically, or you don't. It's really up to you.
Well, so that's a different
But
scenario,
you're
though.
not operating
Wait,
ethically.
so 3 votes versus 2 votes, but you're saying he's not legitimate because he's a spouse.
Because you need to have 3 votes. You only had.
Okay, so then the spouse thing doesn't matter.
Well, no, that's an additional issue.
But it's not, I can't find any.
Oh, sorry.
That's like.
Man, wow, I don't know.
All
I'm walking.
Any additional public comment?
Not on that topic, I have another public comment.
Sure.
Yeah, this is,
Unless
interesting discussion.
anybody else wants to talk about that issue?
All the issues matter. All the issues matter. It matters that there was only 2 votes instead of 3. It matters that the other person on the trustee board is the spouse of the person being, put on the board. It matters that you didn't even bother to choose a real Republican to fill a real Republican spot. And be as good as you want, I'm telling you that is unconscionable. I know, you'll sleep fine, but that's not right.
For the residents in the room, the definition of Republican, according to the state statute, is that you participated in the most recent Republican primary, the individual
I
satisfied
would
that.
like to ask this person which Republicans he voted for.
I
And by the
don't
way,
think anybody has.
He's never darkened my
Look up
doorstep,
the
and I've never been to his.
And it's on the voting record that he's participated in the Republican.
I've never been to this building's doorstep, and he's never been on a list of mine.
For the lay people in the room, it sounds to me like they pulled a fast.
so.
Well, so I've been on other boards.
As moderator, I'm not a judge, okay? So it appears to me if there is a petition, that needs to go forward. So do whatever you need to do with the attorneys. Good luck. The other is, I think, in my opinion, being a moderator, is you should make this legal. If in fact, the ordinance, the policy is you have to have 3 votes, let's, nothing, if nothing else,
Oh,
you have to open up that vote again and get your 3 votes. That's my opinion.
The process is already.
I think that's right, because I've been on other boards.
Yeah.
You need to have, you can't have 2 people voting.
You need
Yeah,
to, you
that I
need
know
to,
of.
you need to.
You need to have at least 3 to vote on it, so.
Well,
like I
here's
said,
the thing.
Wherever it is.
Here's the thing too, to remember, if that's exactly what it says, you have to have 3 votes to make that happen. If it doesn't say it has to be a Republican, it may be appropriate to not have nepotism. I don't know if that's in the ordinances or the policies. But at any rate, every vote taken by that person is in question. It's in question legally. So I suggest to Mr. Crowner that you work this out and get it done so that you don't get into a situation that you'll have to deal with in the future.
Unfortunately, there's a legal process that has to take place in order to revote or to change anything like that. And so the legal process is the process that trustee Robinson went through.
But what if they don't pay attention to me? That's what I'm finding out.
Yeah.
Can't we just fix it? Can't we
We cannot
rectify?
legally. That's what
But
the attorney advised on because he's sworn it.
We should have an attorney here speaking. We should invite
Sir,
invite an
in the
attorney.
back, you haven't had a chance.
Yes, sir.
Senator, your name, please.
Who this person is, like who's the person?
I'm this person.
And how do you feel about, like, do you feel that you were,
Could you speak up, sir?
Yeah, I'm just asking him if he feels that it was better. correctly and he has any qualms about it for himself personally.
Personally,
Like, do you think there was anything done wrong with that?
I've been a Republican since many people in this room were in diapers.
That's Raquel's question. My question is, you didn't get the proper number of votes. Does that bother you?
My understanding is that there were not 5 people available to vote.
But that's not what OMA says. It doesn't say if the wife of the person on the dais, you know, recuses herself. It's not in the OMA.
Well, let me ask you a question. How do you feel about the fact that a trustee, Kelly Hickey, recused herself?
If she didn't recuse herself, we wouldn't be in this
You're making an
position.
issue out
If she
of-
didn't recuse herself, we wouldn't be in this position.
She absolutely recused herself. She did not vote.
If she did not recuse herself, she would have voted for you and there would be no question. You would be the rightful trustee.
So when you boil it all down, what's your problem?
She decided she didn't want to vote for ethical reasons. I don't know exactly the whole thing. Why did you recuse yourself?
You know,
Excuse me, we're not going to resolve that and have a debate here.
Sorry, I was just
I
saying.
mean, the issue's been brought up. In my opinion, needs to be fixed. And it may take some time to do that, but it needs to be fixed. And you're pursuing the petition. that be
I have a
presented.
petition.
Okay, that should be
It's
presented.
been presented to both clerks,
Okay.
clerk and the
And
deputy.
Find
And
out the
again.
legal issues the best you can.
But by bylaws, you have to have a majority, right? Yeah, I'm just going by other things that I know, you have to have a majority on the vote, so
I mean,
if there's 5
I'll give you
people and
right
4
here.
people don't show up and 1 person votes, it's not a legitimate vote, you
You don't have a quorum.
do them, you gotta have a quorum.
That was my
Is that-
point of, if it says you need 3 votes
Yeah,
of that
exactly.
quorum,
No.
then, yeah, there's an issue there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The law says 3 or 5.
Yeah, I would think, you gotta
We don't
have
have
a
5
quorum,
on the board.
right, yeah,
So-
have a quorum or whatever, so, it ain't.
But you can't have 2, Terry. You can't have 2, okay?
Yeah.
So let's not play that game. You can't have 2 people.
So, Mr. was.
The courts will make the decision.
Yes, sir.
So Michael Wisniewski again, 11S 414 Sanders Road. Former Wheatland Township trustee, former Will County board member. And I have an issue with the way that you handle giving away a multi-million-dollar park. Because the statutes for the annual meeting declare that anytime property or inventory, anything that's of value is sold or transferred, it has to be done with the approval of the electors. What you chose to do, which I think was underhanded, is you used a devious method where you did a deed. You sold a multi-million-dollar park to Plainfield Township for $10.
That's incorrect.
No,
It was not sold to Plainfield Township.
it was sold to Plainfield Park District, whatever, it's a moot point. The point is, it should have been brought before all the electors for a vote. Instead, you went around the electors, did it at a board meeting, and to the best of my knowledge, I have filed 2 FOIAs asking for the appraisal of that property and the equipment, and at both times it's been denied by some legal gobbledygook that can't even find in the Illinois statutes. And I want to know tonight, will you tell the electors, will you tell the voters of this township, what was the appraised value of the 5-acre park and all the equipment that you sold to Plainfield Park District for $10?
I am not prepared with that data.
Oh, you have all the other data.
Yeah, because that was part of my report.
Yeah. So
For anybody,
that's another issue.
for reference for folks here, we unanimously, both as a board, decided to work with the Plainfield Park District. They owned an adjacent parcel to our property. They were gonna be building on that, and again, we always look at things in the matter of efficiency, right? Not wanting duplicative resources at parks that literally share a border, and allowing the Plainfield Park District to be efficient with their use of funds as well. We, via the land, I believe it was the Land Transfer Act, which is something that municipalities do very regularly. give the park to be operated by park operators. And that was the decision that we came to as a board. It allows the board to save funds. There are gonna be significant repairs and replacements that we're gonna need to take place in the next few years, including the park equipment, parking lot, the basketball court itself. I mean, the park was gonna be due for a pretty big refresh. And we, as a board, felt that, you know, again, we try to stay lean. We're not park operators. We didn't think it made sense for the highway guys who should be focusing on our roads and our culverts, to be mowing the grass there, to be picking things up there. And so that was the decision that we came to as a board. So.
I disagree with that because the Wheatland Athletic Association, for the 4 years I was a trustee, they maintained the field, they mowed the field, they fertilized the field, and they kept up the equipment.
Oh, that is no longer the case.
When I was a township trustee, I had 3 companies, including Pepsi, that were willing to sponsor the equipment and do the remediation for a signage that said, this field is now Wheatland Township / PepsiCo, like they do with guaranteed rate and other fields. You could have looked for other solutions. That park was meant specifically for the children of unincorporated Wheatland Township, whose school programs were not allowed them to play for the school district 2 or 3 or Plainfield because of the difference of the hours of when the schools let out and when the buses. That was meant to be a heritage for all of the unincorporated people, and the unincorporated people had first say at any time they wanted to use that for a family event, or a cultural event, or for something for their families. You threw that away.
That may have been the case in the past, but to my knowledge, there was no current policy since I've been sworn in that gave unincorporated folks priority, given the fact that all residents of Wheatland Township pay for that park.
I wrote a part of the Oslak grant that we got for $200,000 to state of Illinois.
Everything
And
for
that-
the grant had
in that
expired.
grant.
All terms for the previous grants have expired.
And I disagree with the legality from what I have researched with 3 private law firms on the legality of how that vote was taken.
And
But we'll
as far as
pursue
the
that.
legality, Ansel Blink, which is considered the primary, the premier township attorneys within the state of Illinois, they literally write what we call the Bible for townships. They agreed that this was done
What was that?
appropriately. I'm sorry, Carrie Lynn, Ansel Blink.
No, Carrie was very well.
So dumb question.
Thank you.
So
Yes,
where
sir.
is this located
The
at?
park is on 127th, just east of Route
I
59,
was there for 23 years.
and it's still there.
27th and
Yes, it's there. It's actually gonna now be double the size that it previously was. Thank you.
That finishes my public comment, Mr. Moderator. Thank
Is
you.
there any other comments?
Finish, I don't know, we're gonna go back to that. What I was asking, I was just gonna see if he had any problems about just them just revoting. Like, can they do that? Can they just?
So with that process, once somebody is sworn in, you can't vote on something unless there's a vacancy. And so that's why, in order to create that vacancy, we would have to go through the legal process, which I believe trustee Rockets is working through.
Design and represent himself?
Yes, that would be the secondary process, but
So, I don't know how you.
it could be a discussion for the trustees at a future meeting, should he decide.
right, I have a much
Yeah. no
lighter.
problem. Sure.
Speed bumps, McGrath. How come, are you putting speed bumps back in?
There's your highway commissioner. He'll be able to tell you
Okay.
exactly that.
Well, we're following the same thing that Aurora, Plainfield, and Naperville are doing with that. Essentially, they've gotten rid of speed bumps. They're not recommended. There's a longer list of that you can go. There's a website called Naperville Traffic Calming. And right off the bat, it says, speed bumps, and there's an explanation there. The key thing is that it slows down, traffic. It also slows down first responders or police and fire going there. And there's also alternative ways to get the same thing. One of the things that's something that's on there is that speed bumps do work temporarily for about a week or 2. But then what you find is that people will slow down the speed bump and then they accelerate afterwards. And that's not what you want. You don't want people speeding up, especially when there's a lot of kids on that street. So we're going to do the same type of things. to do traffic calming that Naperville, Plainfield, and Aurora are doing, as a group, especially because a lot of those roads are, not McGrath, but Leverage, for example, and that the other roads, are partially the township, but they're also Naperville, and, the person's traveling from Naperville jurisdiction to the township jurisdiction.
Define traffic calm.
Define hit, Trevor's books on that. The idea is just to.
No, from
slow
your
down.
perspective.
From my perspective, it's essentially, getting cars to slow down within an appropriate rate based on the speed.
So what, how, doing that how?
The first.
Give me the highlight without going to Naperville, Plainfield, everything.
Okay, so, we've done a couple of, traffic studies on McGrath.
And Wagner.
And Wagner. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've done traffic studies, and this is also proven out nationally. The people do these things in Florida, Texas, all over the place. And the average speed of the speeders, this is what's in the traffic, the average speed of the speeders, the top 15% of all vehicles on that is averaging about 32, 33 miles an hour. The speed limit is 25. And then, so that means that according to the prescriptive measures for these, and this is not just, making this, but also what other people do is, one, education of the neighborhood. So going knocking on doors, letting people know that, hey, listen, your neighbors are complaining, let's make sure we can slow down. Secondly is we purchased a couple of the same type of signs that you see over at Niqua and Bonzi where it says your speed.
Digital speed.
Yeah, so that way those speed signs also are taking data, so we know what's going on with the traffic there. We're also coordinating with Naperville and Will County Sheriff to make sure that there are police presence there, and it's not all the time, but occasionally. And the thing is that if the neighbors all know that, Will County shows up at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday, they're not gonna speed. So they kind of avoid it, but if we get police to come in there occasionally and either put out warning tickets, that's a deterrent also.
So no disrespect.
Yeah.
So I don't know if all those things that you mentioned really do what they're supposed to do. I drive through Naperville all the time and I see the signs, and I'll be honest, I probably speed for them. I will tell you though, when we had the whole thing with Wagner Farms going in, and he did a whole assessment on Wagner about like how fast everybody was going down Wagner, like speeding down Wagner. When the speed bumps were put in, I gotta say, just from a resident, I can see that it slowed it down. And I haven't really seen where, I get what you were saying, where they're like, go over speed bump and like really gas on. No, I haven't seen that a lot. That's just my experience or whatever. I totally think that it reduced the speed, and I'm not sure if it's not that much cost, why we wouldn't do it. I'd like, what's the downside of it?
Downside one is that, like I mentioned, you're slowing down first responders. So if the police.
So how many times has that happened?
Police do that?
Well, that we slow down first responders because we had the speed bumps in the.
I can relay a story, but I'll take off.
Okay, no, that's fine.
But at the same time, also, the damage to the roads. We're drilling anywhere between 5 to 15 bolts and other things into the road. And then, when we remove those, we really can't have a speed bump there during the winter.
Yeah, no, I got that.
So that strip of road becomes damaged, and we have to go in and repair those holes, and then we re-drill it every single time.
The roads in Wheatland Township are falling apart.
And that's a great point. So the roads program had gotten suspended for quite some time, and Tom, just by virtue of being able to be smart with the funds over the last couple of years, in addition to working with myself to secure some funding from the state as well, we're able to get that program restarted. Now, it's not going to be all roads on day one. Unfortunately, we don't have, again, the budget or the levy for that, but the roads program has gotten restarted. So thank you, Tom, for taking care of that.
So the issue is the bus company had to change the route to protect grade school children on Wagner because of the speed bumps not being. So I ask you, Mr. Commissioner, what's the value of the life of a child to you? Not a black and white numbers. It's not a study, it's reality. And that's the fear of many of the mothers who signed these petitions, and signing other petitions with issues with the township. So I'd like you to take that as not like trying to be too emotional, but that's the concern of a mother standing there, 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds, and people doing 40, 50 miles an hour down Wagner, and the bus now has to change a different route and stop being a Wagner because of the speeders. I'd like you to think about that. Maybe we can have some constructive conversation. Thank you.
So who decides like whether they go in or go out? Is that like something the board, like you bring up to the board and you say like, you know, it's more,
The speed bumps?
yeah, I mean, how's that get decided? Oh, so you get to decide, okay. Right.
Well, you know, the problem with, I live on Wagner, 29W1, okay, for 20 years. And my kids are grown now. But neighbors next to me moved in, have 2 kids, across the street have 2 kids, 2 people down have 2 kids. Nobody lets anybody near the street.
Mhm.
They're always out there watching. And as far as police, I mean, I can see Naperville. Naperville has cops all over. And they stop people. No offense, but they come down my street, the county, once or twice a month.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's no police.
I have never seen one pulled over. Have you
Well, we
ever
used
seen
to have
one
a county,
pulled
we used to
over?
live on Wagner.
Mhm.
And then it was good because his car sat in the driveway.
Yeah.
And I mean, people, oh shit, there's a county road.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as far as police presence go.
So I hear you. This is with regards to the presence of the sheriff up here in Wheatland. We've talked to the county a few times about it in the sheriff's office, and we'd like to see more of a presence. The county has grown significantly, right? And unfortunately, I don't believe their manpower has grown at the same rate as the county. So they're just that much more spread thin. But I'm with you. I'd love to see more of a presence up here as well.
Policeman street. I
Yeah.
don't- And this is every like that. You know, I like living where I live, but.
No, I don't think more police, I don't think you're
No,
gonna,
but I'm
you're
just
not
saying
gonna
there is
get
no
more
presence.
sheriff.
Oh, we
That's
rarely
not-
have anybody up here.
Yeah.
They respond, but they're not patrolling.
Some
Yeah,
more
they're not-
signs would be good, like you said, more stuff. I mean, I saw the one in Wagner. I don't know what you're gonna put on Wagner. You know, that's a long street. We all know what Wagner Farms wants to do.
So I was
You
just,
guys think you did that. I couldn't even imagine that that went all. the
oh,
way
yeah,
through to
yeah,
Vietnam.
yeah.
I would have moved a long time ago.
Yep.
You know, we all would, who live on those streets.
So-
But they're cutting through. I was there the other morning. I watch them. They come into the subdivision in that bus and they cut through and, you know, nobody wants to go to 59. They're still coming through unread. It's just the way it is.
Any other comments?
And-
Offer.
I've been there a long time, Mr. Miles.
I'll move to adjourn this meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Miller?
Yeah, thank you.
So, I don't know. You know,